All right, Vito from MoreBeer here. We're at the Siebel booth with Keith. Siebel Master Brewer Program. I have a bunch of friends that went through it. Chris Graham was a teacher at the Master Brewer Program at a point. So tell our audience out there a little bit about Siebel and what they can expect and you know the different programs and such.
Sure, Siebel's been around for 150 years. We are not only a brewing school. Basically, we're brewing industry pioneers that have helped develop the technologies that are used in brewing today. We have, as you mentioned, the Master Brewer Program is our flagship program, in that people who have some prior experience in brewing at a fairly established level come into the advanced level program and spend 6 weeks in Chicago, and then get together with their students and fly over to Germany to our sister facility, Domen's Academy, where they then participate in a combined 14 weeks of training. So the Siebel Institute segment is pretty much all brewing theory, and it does a great job of preparing the students for what they'll experience in Germany, where they apply that theory in the practical brewing stations and labs at Domen's Academy.
Awesome. So if someone is interested in signing up for this, where do they go to?
Well, SiebelInstitute.com is where you would go to. And what we would do is we're generally going to walk you through an assessment, because the people that come into this, again, have to have some degree of prior knowledge of commercial level brewing. It doesn't need to be that extensive, but we need to understand that you're capable of keeping up with the rest of the class, because the courses that we offer are 5 days a week, 7 hours a day, and they move very quickly with a great degree of depth. So people have to be kind of on the same knowledge page, so to speak, in order to be able to participate in the advanced level courses.
Awesome. Yeah, it's worth checking out. Like I said, I have many friends that own breweries now that have went through it, and they're making amazing beer, so I would highly recommend it. The last thing I'd like to talk about is we actually carry one of your products, the off-flavor kits. Tell me a little bit about those, and I love experimenting. You know, for those who have never tasted diacetyl, you probably have, but you know, you spike it and you learn the different levels, and you learn about, you know, acetobacter and these different things. So tell me a little bit about the off-flavor kits.
Sure. We've been manufacturing those for almost 20 years now, and what they allow you to do is to be able to bring sensory training to your brewery, to your brewing club, your home brewing club. With these kits, it's a series of vials, and each of the vials contains a very small amount of very pure chemicals that are commonly found in beer. All you have to do is really snap the vial open, pour it into a pitcher, and add about 1 quart or 1 liter of beer. And then that amount of beer is good for serving up to 20 people. So what you can do is get a group of people together and basically either pour samples for them and have them seated in what we would call a formal sensory training situation, or simply break the vial open, put it into the pitcher with a liter of beer, and have people come up and pour their own small amounts of samples, and then they can walk through each of the different flavor and aroma attributes of each of the compounds simply by booting up the YouTube channel. And we've got a video prepared for each of the different approximately 40 compounds available through Siebel Institute, in which we firstly describe what the average taster should be perceiving. You know, the flavor and the aroma. For example, you mentioned diacetyl should come off as butter, butterscotch. And so we give you a bit of a flavor descriptor at the beginning of each of the videos, and then if you watch the rest of the video, it tells you where those compounds come from in the brewing process and how you can go about controlling them. So they're either featured in your beer or they're eliminated from the beer, or anything in between.
I love that you have those companion videos. When I was a commercial brewer, I would do this with our tasting staff, walk them through that, and we would just go over it. And it was interesting to see, like, you know, everybody's got different thresholds too. Like some people don't get it, and then other people are like, oh my God, you know, I get the diacetyl, the earthy, or these different flavors. So everybody has different thresholds, and I think what I like about those is you get punched in the face with it, so it allows you to really kind of learn it over time. So, and
if you use the kits as the initial mixing instructions tell you to do, it will be kind of a punch in the face for somebody who knows what these aromas are. But for people trying them for the first time, they go, oh, okay, that's interesting. I never really tried this before. The nature of our kits is that if you buy a kit and you really want to get experimental with it, because they're liquid, you can actually get what's called a laboratory pipette, which is something that you basically draw a very specific amount, small amount of liquid, and you can inject that chemical compound into beer at different rates. So now you can get it so you're only adding a very small amount of that compound to a beer, so you're just barely capable of perceiving it. And that allows you to actually get to the point where you're well trained at spotting each of these compounds, even at small amounts, because it's in small amounts that when they are accumulated, several different aromas, for example, in esters that form the fruity characteristic of beer. But if you say a beer smells fruity, it can be a percentage of isoamyl acetate, of ethyl acetate, ethyl hexanoate, ethyl butyrate, and you can now prepare beer with small amounts of those to find out what they're like in smaller, more negligible amounts.
Agreed, yeah. Great. Thank you, Keith.
Thank you.
It's been amazing.
You bet.
Awesome.